kind of growing up with the film as far as the love between a grandfather and grandson,
Right.
the love between friends, the romantic love. I mean,
Right.
it's on wherever you are in life, whatever stage you are in life, there is something there for you
Right.
with the film, and that must strike you as something especially beautiful about it.
It is. You're right, Aaron. I think people ask me, like, what is it about the film? Why do you think it is that it has that longevity? And I always tell folks, I think, first of all, it's a movie about love. That's not a bad thing. Secondly, it's funny. And third, it's a film that the whole family can sit down and watch together. And how many movies can you do that with today? Not many. And so everybody watching it, parents, grandparents, kids, everybody gets something out of it. Because there's adult humor, where it's not too adult, and there's kids humor, so it has everything. And Rob Reiner was the perfect director to direct it at the time. It was a book he fell in love with as a kid. His father, Carl Reiner, had given it to him to read. And he was the perfect director because, he had been passionate about making the film for a long, long time. So when we came to shoot it, he would add things that weren't in the book. For instance, I'll give you one example. And to me, it's one of the most beautiful examples. When Fred Savage says to him, "Hey, Grandpa, maybe you can come back tomorrow and read it to me again?" And then Peter Falk turns to him and says, "As you wish." That wasn't in the script. Rob Reiner added that. And it's that note that you go, oh, right, that was meant to be, And so it was a beautiful thing to watch. It really was.
Yeah, and remains so.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello.
Hi, what's your name?
Hello there. My name is Kirsty, and
Hello.
you may answer my question as you wish.
Never heard that before.
But I was wondering, with the current immersion of stories becoming full-time television series, like Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones, would you ever envision The Princess Bride as becoming a TV series, and would you want to be involved with that?
You're so sweet. You are very sweet. Look, William Goldman, who wrote the screenplay, believe it or not, he's one of the, for those of you who don't know who he is, I'm sure most of you do, but he's one of the great screenwriters of all time, and novelist. He wrote the book of Princess Bride, which if you haven't read it, it's great. Yeah, you can applaud for that. And he also wrote Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, All the President's Men, Marathon Man, among many others. And he tried. So many fans wrote him letters after the book came out saying, please write a sequel, please write a sequel. And he actually, I think one of the public reissues of the book, Yeah, right? You know about this, Aaron, right? Yeah. He included a letter where he explained how hard it was for him to write a sequel. And then I think in the 25th edition of the book, he included a chapter that he tried to write called Buttercup's Baby, which I think is about maybe 2 paragraphs long or something like that. And when we did the 25th anniversary screening at Lincoln Center in New York, somebody asked him, are you going to finish Buttercup's Baby? And he almost wept. He said, I tried. I really tried. I wanted to. Believe me, I wanted to. But he said, I just couldn't do it. And so, unless he was behind it, I really don't think it's something that anyone would want to get involved with. I can say that on behalf of everybody associated with it, because it's really his baby. It's his favorite piece of work out of all this incredible work that he's done. It's his favorite because it's dedicated to his kids. He was driving across country, and his 2 daughters were in the back seat, and he asked them. He said, "What should I write my next book about?" And one of the daughters said princesses, and the other one said brides. And that's it. That's how it came together. So it's very personal to him. But I thank you for your question, and I understand why you would want to see it, but I think it's tough. Certainly, I'm 31 years later, I'm a little too old to play Wesley again, so maybe the grandpa.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi
there. What's your name?
My name is Tyler, and
Hi, Tyler.
my mother actually raised me on The Princess Bride.
Oh, thank you. Thank you to your mom.
Well, it also got me into just messing around, sword fighting with my grandma.
Oh,
But
right on. Sword fighting with your grandma?
Yeah, wait, hold on a second.
we
Yeah.
were using one in sticks. Don't worry. We were using.
Was she in on the...
We were using dowels. We were using dowels as fencing.
okay.
Yeah, I laughed at it too a moment ago. Anyways, I was wondering if you could go back and add one scene to The Princess Bride, what would you add?
I wouldn't add anything.
Good answer.
Glad you approve.
Awesome.
You know, actually, I mean, and I know you cannot talk at all about this, but it was announced recently that you will be part of Stranger Things.
Thank you. Yes.
Obviously, we have some fans in the audience of the show. How did you what was your first exposure to this series, and then realizing what a big hit that it was and is?
Well, I knew it was a hit show, but to be honest with you, I hadn't seen it when I got offered the part. So I quickly binge watched the first 2 seasons. And I've never binge watched anything in my life. And I gotta tell you, it wasn't hard, because that show, I mean, when I watched it and sat down, my wife was like, didn't see me for like a week. You know? And so I was so engrossed in it, and I was so impressed by the kids' performances. They're all amazing, everybody, you know, David Harbour, everybody. And the direction, everything, every department. I was like, this is a really amazing show. I get why it's successful. It's really well written and well thought out. And so I was so grateful. They offered me the part to play the mayor of Hawkins, and so I get to be the new mayor. Yeah, it's going to be fun. Hi there. What's your name?
Hello, my name is Remy. We met earlier.
Hi,
today
Remy.
to
Yeah,
get,
sure.
Autographs. I wanted to ask you for a shout out, but I didn't want to be rude with the people behind me. I know you have a lot of short time and all that. I was just wondering if you could wish my friend JC a happy belated birthday in your most seductive Wesley voice.
All right, so this is where I'm gonna be a bad cop, simply because timing, but also Carrie's up here to answer questions, but not so much perform. So I will say happy birthday to your friend, but
Happy
maybe not.
birthday. I can tell you that. I don't know what voice you want me to do. Lithuanian? I don't know.
Yeah,
Well, I
Thank
do have
you,
an actual
but
question.
thank you anyhow.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi. Next question.
Hi.
Hello.
I really loved the film The Riverman, where you played
wow,
Tim
thank you.
Bundy. What was it like playing such a character, and how do you prepare for that kind of role?
Well, I prepare for all my roles the same way, with a great deal of research, especially if I'm playing a real person. It's a lot easier playing a real person, actually, because you have a mine of information to use at your fingertips. Playing a serial killer is, playing a real life serial killer was probably not the most exciting thing for me to do, because being in that headspace is very hard. And it was hard work. I certainly enjoyed the work, but like I said, I prefer not to be, I think that's the last let me put it that way, last serial killer I'll probably play. Let's put it that way. But thank you. I appreciate your appreciation for it. Thank you.
Yeah, you can take that off the list. Serial killer. Done.
Check.
Yeah.
Done.
We only have time for 2 more quick questions, guys.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Great, how are you?
Thank you.
Super, that wasn't my question.
It's okay.
Your book was fantastic, as you were saying. I mean, it was full of all these lovely little moments, like especially when you're talking about Wallace Shawn having anxiety over Danny DeVito possibly being funnier. But back to Psych. Do you have any little moments, scenes, any stories from that just really stick in your mind, as opposed to it being just like a riot the whole time?
What, I'm sorry. What?
Psych.
Psych.
Yes.
Any particular story? Well, I tell you one thing. I wasn't prepared for Dule Hill's little girly scream when I first. That threw me. And I thought it was a mistake. And I laughed and ruined his take. And he's like, no, that's how my character screams. So yeah, like I mentioned earlier, it was just a lot of ruined takes. I don't know how we got through a day, honestly. It was extraordinary. A lot of ad-libbing, which is fun. And James and Dulé, having been on the show a lot longer by the time I got there, knew their characters very well. So they were able to really ad-lib in character all the time with each other, and that was fun to watch, yeah.
Thank you.
Cool, thanks.
Hi.
Hi there.
Hi.
What's your name?
Anastasia.
Hello.
Hi. I remember seeing The Princess Bride when I was about 7 or 8 in theaters. And I think even at a young age, you set the bar very high for other males. In my life.
Wow, thank you.
So yeah, my husband of 11 years, I met him on the fencing team. So I was wondering, what do you say to several generations of males that have that character to live up to as Wesley?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
What advice would you give to several generations of males that have to live up to the Wesley character?
It's not several generations since then, I just want to say.
I'm not
like guys
quite
that are
that
still
old
watching.
yet. But no, I mean, look, I don't know what to say to that. You're very kind. How about that? That's very sweet of you. I played a character, and I was lucky enough to get cast in it. It was really, obviously, a career-altering moment in my life. I had also read the book when I was 13, like Rob Reiner, and I was shooting a film in Berlin at the time for Channel 4, a British Channel 4 film about Vladimir Nabokov. And I got a call from my agent saying that Rob Reiner is flying to Berlin to meet you and discuss The Princess Bride. And I couldn't believe that. I was like, wow. So he and his producing partner, Andy Scheinman, flew to Berlin. And they said to me, Rob goes, "You know we're serious if we're two Jews flying to Berlin." And they sat me down and we discussed how much we loved the book together. And then he pulled out his script and he said, "I just want to hear one scene. Just read this paragraph for me." And I hadn't had any preparation at all because they hadn't sent me the script to read. And he made me read the whole monologue about becoming the Dread Pirate Roberts when I'm carrying Buttercup through the fire swamp, which is a long scene, and I'm reading it cold, and I'm thinking, oh man, this is going so badly, it's awful, I'm stumbling and fumbling and trying to act cool and all of that. And when I didn't even finish it, and Rob was like, that's good, okay. It was great meeting you. And they got up and they left. And I thought, well, that's that. That was fun while it lasted. And then about a week later, I got the call, which was extraordinary. And I told my agent, I said, you can forge my signature on the contract, and just in case they change their minds. Yeah. So.
Well, did he ever tell you what it was about that line read that he especially liked and what worked for him?
Turned out he didn't need to make me read. He said, you had the part anyway. I was just messing with you.
Excellent. Well, Fan Expo Canada, I can't think of a lovelier note to end 2018 on. And I want you to know, first of all, you guys are great. You've been a great crowd all weekend.
Yeah, you have.
And please give it up for this awesome gentleman.